Hello everyone and welcome to our new HireRight Basics training video. My name is Veronica Hoffman. I am a compliance specialist with OHR Compliance, and I'll be taking you through the basics of the new HireRight system in relation to Form I-9. Today we're going to talk about how to navigate to the new system, how to use the old and the new system together. I'll be showing you how to initiate Form I-9. We also have some examples of Section 1 and Section 2. So we'll be walking through how to complete Section 1 on the employee side of things, as well as walking through how to complete Section 2 on the employer side of things. And finally, to wrap everything up, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the new employee profile in the new system. To start, we'll go ahead and navigate to the new HireRight system. I am using our testing site, which is why the company ID looks a little different. But in order to find your way to the new HireRight system, you will log into the current system as usual. From here, you can use the left side menu and navigate to I-9 Forms, and then select I-9/E-Verify Program. Typically, this will open a new tab. You will be required to select one more button, and that will bring you to this dashboard. Because I've used it already today, it does not have me do that additional step. For the time being, we will have to navigate between both the old HireRight system and the new HireRight system. We are in the process of getting ready for a data merge. We do not have a date yet for that, but it will happen after implementation of this new system. So while we are waiting for that merge to happen, we will be searching for old I-9s in the old system before creating any new I-9s in the new system. This is important. We do not want any duplicate I-9s on file when we end up merging data from the old system to the new system. So we do ask that you thoroughly look for any valid I-9s on file in the current system before creating a new I-9 in the new system. Speaking of new I-9s, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how to initiate a new I-9 in our new system. As you can see here on the dashboard, there is a widget titled Quick Add I-9. We're going to go ahead and use that. We're going to select this top button, which is Add Electronic I-9/Employee. And here we'll enter in all the information that we need for this new I-9. First things first, we have our assigned worksite. This is a required field. You will have to select an assigned worksite in order to create the I-9. Upon implementation of the new HireRight system, there will be more options, but for now, we're going to go ahead and use Office of Human Resources. And then from there, you can go ahead and enter the information of the employee. So we're going to say author Tiffany Jackson is our employee that we're adding today. You'll go ahead and add their email address. For the purpose of this test site, I am using my own email address. And then you'll add the hire date. If known, we'll say that Tiffany is being hired on the 18th. And you will go ahead and use this toggle button to use the email as the login username. Once you click that button, it does auto-populate the username as the employee's email as entered here. Because in this test system, there is already an employee with this username, I am going to create a different username. But as I said, in the implemented system, you will use this toggle button to use the employee's email as their username. Once everything has been entered, you can go ahead and select Add. And this will take you to their employee profile. Once the Form I-9 has been initiated, that employee will be receiving 2 emails indicating that they must complete Section 1, and it gives them their login information as well. This is one of the emails that the employee will receive. As you can see, it has a link for them to use to get to their I-9. Also has their username, tells them a little bit about why they're receiving this email, but the password is provided in a separate email. That email looks like this. Here is their password in the first line. It is bold. It also gives them instructions and again that link that they can use to access their I-9. So when they click that link, this is what they're going to see, and they're able to go ahead and put the information in here for logging in. And I'm going to use a previous employee that I had set up. And let me just grab that password. And they are able to copy and paste the password here. So again, once they have put in their information, they can go ahead and enter that existing password again and create a new password. It can be whatever they want, as long as it matches here the new and confirmed password, then they can hit update. And that takes them to their employee portal. As we can see here, Oscar Wilde does have something to do. They have a task. So from here, the employee can go ahead and click that. Takes them to what they need to complete, which is, of course, Section 1 of Form I-9. When they're ready to complete Section 1, they can go ahead and click this, and it takes them to their introduction. We do recommend employees clicking through the information here. It is not required for them to continue on to complete Section 1, but it does give them some additional information about why they are asked to fill out Form I-9, who needs to fill out Form I-9, things of that nature. From there, they can go ahead and enter in their information. So we have Oscar Wilde. We'll say his address is 123 Gray Street, no apartment number, in Madison, Wisconsin, 53715. Once he has entered in this information, go ahead and click Next. And the employee can enter their social security number. They do not have to, it is not required. For this purpose, I will not. And then they'll enter in their birthday, which I am just going to make up. We'll say January 1st, 1990. They can also enter their email address or their telephone number. Again, not required, but they are more than welcome to. They will then click their citizenship or immigration status. For the purposes of this demonstration, I will just select a citizen of the United States, and they can click Next. Then they'll go ahead and review the information that they've entered. Once they've reviewed, they can either sign in this box using their mouse, or they can generate a signature. Clicking it twice does give you a little fancier one. Click Next. Then they'll be prompted to share if they did utilize a preparer or translator. If they did, they will click Yes. That takes them to Supplement A, which gives them the opportunity to put the information of the preparer or translator that assisted them with this I-9. For now, we're going to select No. And then Section 1 is complete. As a heads up, they do not have to click Finish in order for Section 1 to be completed and the notification for Section 2 to be kicked off. But if they do click Finish, it just takes them back to their Stuff I Need to Complete browser. All right, so as I mentioned, once Section 1 is complete, Section 2 is kicked off, which means whoever initiated the I-9 or whoever is assigned to the I-9 will be receiving an email stating that Section 1 has been completed, and this is what that will look like. Once you receive this email, that means you can go ahead and complete Section 2. So we're going to go ahead, head to the dashboard. There are a few ways to find the employee whose I-9 you need to complete. If you're utilizing any of these widgets, you can use these. For example, we have Incomplete Section 2 here. If you click this, it gives you a list. We see Oscar Wilde down here. There's also this Incomplete Section 2 widget. Again, show full list. We find Oscar Wilde here on the bottom. However, if you do not utilize either of these widgets, which is completely fine, you can also search for the employee using this main navigation dashboard. You'll select Search. You do have to choose a category, so we'll select Employee, and we'll go ahead and enter in the employee's name. And there he is. So in order to complete Section 2, we're going to go ahead and double-click on Oscar Wilde's line here, and that takes us to the employee profile. Prior to completing Section 2, we do need to review the information in Section 1. So in order to do that, we're going to head over to I-9/eVerify. We're going to head over to View I-9 here, and this is going to populate a PDF version of the I-9 that we can go ahead and review. So as we can see, everything looks good. If you scroll down, you do also get an audit trail. And once we reviewed everything, we can close the I-9 and move forward into completing Section 2. Of course, Section 2 is completed with the employee presence, so they are able to present their documents for you to physically inspect. So we're going to assume Oscar Wilde is here with me now. I wish, that would be really cool. We're going to head over to Task History. We're going to find the line labeled Section 2 Form I-9. And underneath this Actions, we're going to use this drop-down and select Complete so that we can complete it at this very moment. Feel free to read the introduction once you are all set there. Go ahead and click Next. And depending on what the employee presents as their I-9 documentation, you're going to go ahead and select something from this list. These options will populate based on what the employee selects as their citizenship or immigration status in Section 1. So because in Section 1, Oscar Wilde chose U.S. citizen, we are receiving the options to provide these documents. If they had selected a non-citizen authorized to work, we would have a different selection to choose from. For this demonstration, I'm going to say that Oscar Wilde has presented me with a U.S. passport. Once we've selected the document, we can go ahead and enter the information after we have physically verified it. I am just going to use a dummy number. Perfect. And then the expiration date, again, I'm just going to make up here. And we can hit Next. From there, we'll go ahead and review the information that we have put in. And then we're going to do our agent attestation. So we can confirm the start date. If this has changed from when the I-9 was initiated, please change it. You can do so using the calendar here. We could say the start date was pushed out to the 20th. So again, make sure everything is correct and click Confirm Start Date. You can then go ahead and click this box once you certify that everything that you have included in this I-9 is accurate. Then you can sign, again, either using this box with your mouse, or you can generate a signature. At this point, Section 2 is now complete. Again, you do not have to click Finish in order for Section 2 to be completed, but if you do, it does take you right back to the employee profile, which makes it much easier for you to review everything that was put in Section 2, which is the next step. So again, we'll head over to I-9/eVerify. We'll select View I-9, and we're just going to double check that everything populated correctly here in Section 2. Again, there's that audit trail. And everything looks good for this I-9. So finally, we're going to talk a little bit about this employee profile. So if we head back to Details, which is the first thing that pops up when you open an employee profile, there are a few extra fields that we ask you fill out when completing an employee's I-9. And those are going to be under Employment Details. We have the Employee ID, and we have the UDDS, or the School College Division. We know that these are not always known upon hire, but at the time of completion of this I-9, we do ask that these fields are entered. So for Employee ID, we're just going to use a random number here. And again, UDDS, random number. Once you have entered those, you do have to save those changes so that they stick with the employee profile. So you'll want to scroll down and hit Apply Changes. And that saves those two fields here to the employee profile. That is everything in our HireRight Basics training video that we wanted to go over with you today. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our inbox. That is hrcompliance@ohr.wisc.edu. We will also be offering additional resources and guides in our I-9 compliance box folder, which you will receive access to once this training has been completed. I'd like to thank you for your time. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.